What's up, everybody? Glad to be bringing you the first and hopefully a series of week reviews, the weekend review, whatever you want to refer to it as. I'm not even sure what I'm referring to it as yet. This is the first one. I just want to talk about things that have happened during the week, toys I've found, toys I've purchased, toys I've wanted to purchase, things in the news, whatever. And we'll talk about it and we'll see what happens. But yeah, so the big thing for me this weekend, a couple big things. One was going to, as you can see from my shirt, RetroMania, collectible show. First collectible show for 2023 that I've went to here in Colorado. And yeah, it was really fun. I'm actually going to put some video here for you guys to review and see what I saw. And went to the show with a few of my friends just to have a good time, maybe purchase some things. I was able to find one thing on my list that I definitely wanted, and that was the Python Patrol Officer from the Classified series. So stay on the lookout for a review coming hopefully early next week. And yeah, so the other big piece of news coming out of RetroMania was, of course, that Callsign Longbow was there. And if you are unfamiliar with Callsign Longbow, I've got a link in the description below, cslongbow.com, and they are a company that are making vintage O-ring inspired action figures. They are the closest thing we are going to have to vintage G.I. Joe since the 80s and 90s, bar none. These figures are amazing. I'm going to link some of the video. I did an interview with Troy McKie. He is one of the owners, operators, designers, etc., of Callsign Longbow. So I had an interview with him, got to see a couple prototypes, got to hold them in hand, mess around with them. So please, please, please watch that. Enjoy it. If you want to support Callsign Longbow, again, links will be in the description below where you can go and do that directly. Otherwise, other big news this week is sitting right over there. And that is the HasLab Skystriker has landed. Yes, the Eagle has landed. And wow, I am still in the middle of putting together that review because, spoiler alert, I've got them. Duh. And I'm going to open everything. I'm going to open every figure. Obviously, I've opened the Skystriker, and we're going to go through the entire review. It's going to be a long review. So if you're interested in knowing more about the HasLab Skystriker, seeing it in hand, first impressions, things of that nature, please look forward to, please watch that video. It will be hopefully put up sometime in the next week. Like I said, I've gotten that far right now. I've got it on its stand. I've got it, no stickers on it. Just what you see is how I have it right now. There's all the figures are still laying down here. Boxes all over the place. I did purchase 5 of them, so I've got some comments on that. We're gonna circle back to that about the comments about what's going on in the community right now, and you know I'm very interested in hearing your comments on the whole HasLab Skystriker because wow, it's a case of the haves and haves not. I really think, and I really would like to discuss my point of view of it, and hopefully if you want, you can drop me a comment and tell me I'm crazy or stupid, but you know, whatever. Hopefully we can have a civil discourse, but if not, that's fine. There's a delete button for a reason. But seriously, really looking forward to getting that review out. I've had a blast just putting that together so far. I love the fact that it's sitting on that stand. It looks awesome. And you can't tell me it doesn't look awesome back there. I mean, I would prefer a stand versus the old way of fishing wire and hanging it from the ceiling. I like having the stand a lot more. But yeah, so we're gonna have a discussion around the HasLab Skystriker, and yeah, it's been a fun week. I love going to toy shows. I love looking at things that just hit that nostalgia button, and RetroMania definitely did that. I was surprised that there wasn't more G.I. Joe figures there. There were absolutely no Masters of the Universe Origins. I was shocked by that because I came in mind with getting the Python Patrol Officer, which I succeeded in, and then I was going to get King Hiss, who I don't have yet, and was one of my favorites growing up, and they had, at all the vendors, no Origins, and I was really shocked. Saw some Masterverse, lots of vintage stuff. That was really cool to look at. Lots of customs, bootlegs, but no Origins. And come to think of it, no classics either. Very strange. And then, like I said, vintage G.I. Joe, very, very low on that as well. Maybe there's really only one vendor, and it was actually a Troy McKie probably had the largest selection of vintage G.I. Joes. And everybody else just kind of had them thrown in Ziploc baggies or laying out, and, you know, busted, broken crotches, missing thumbs. Nothing really to write home about. There was another collector or another vendor that had some that weren't bad. I almost bought a vintage Firefly, but it wasn't complete, and I figured it was solid. Almost bought. I think he had like them for $40. It didn't seem like a bad deal. But yeah, not a lot of Vintage Joe. And Classified, you could find out the wazoo. They had Classified everywhere. So that was cool. It was nice to be able to get the Python Patrol Officer. Just in case you're curious, I paid $30 for it. I was like, that seems more than fair. If I was to get it at Target, it'd be $23, $24, $25 after tax. So $5 markup just to buy it from a vendor, no problem. Question, do you like going to local toy shows and supporting vendors, even though they might have a markup on a particular figure that you can find in the store? Are you willing to pay that markup because you're there? Are you willing to pay it because you're willing to support the vendors, local vendors like I am? Or is it kind of a give and take? It's like, well, I don't want to go to all the big box stores searching around, or I can't find it online, so I'll pay the premium. That's part of my reasoning as well. Interested in what you say. Drop me a comment on what you think about that. What else? Oh, I did get this from the Callsign Longbow folks. So we're going to talk more with them here in a minute, but this is just a cool sticker sheet. It's vinyl, so you can take them off and add them back to, peel them off, stick them, pull them down, stick them somewhere else. So yeah, these are some of the characters that you're going to be getting. And if you look at these are fantastic looking. I mean, it's 80s based, so Cold War era, and there's basically going to be 3 factions, and it's just going to be phenomenal. Like I said, you're just going to have to see the video, listen to Troy talk about the toys. That's a mouthful. Troy talk about the toys. But I am looking super forward to that. But yeah, otherwise, the big news of the week, Skystrikers, big news, RetroMania, and Callsign Longbow. So looking forward to discussing more of that. And yeah, we'll circle around here in a minute, and we'll talk more about the Skystriker and what's going on in the community regarding that. So yeah, so watch the video from the RetroMania, and then we'll come back and we'll talk about Skystriker some more. What's up, everybody? Mark here, bringing you another video, but not a review. This is going to be my first convention of 2023, RetroMania, here in Boulder, Colorado. So I'm hanging out with a couple of my buddies today, just to see what we can find, any good deals, something we've been looking for. But yeah, let's go see what it's all about, and we'll talk about it. Okay, so I have so far bought Python Patrol Officer, so I will be doing a review on that pretty soon. Also, I'm going to talk to the Callsign Longbow folks. They're here today. Got to see some of their prototypes, pre-production figures, which is super awesome. I'm gonna stop by there, check it out. Otherwise, if I see anything else cool, I will get back with you. There's Big D. Big D needs to buy something.
There's nothing to buy.
That's not true. That's not true. Hey everybody, Mark here with Troy McKie with Callsign Longbow.
Hey everybody.
So they are coming out with the newest O-ring figures that you're going to be able to pick up this year.
Delivery is early 2024.
Early 2024. So hey,
pre-order store is open now.
That's the
delivery
important.
Is early 2024. Yep.
So, all right. So Callsign Longbow. These are 3 3/4 inch O-ring action figures. They're all over here, so you can see it. They are similar construction to vintage G.I. Joe or other O-ring action figures. The only major construction change that we've made is we've added swivel wrists so that the wrist moves on a swivel joint. And we did that so that we could make the hands of a flexible material. That way they don't, the thumbs don't snap off like on a vintage figure, right? Right. So what else do we got here? I mean, now first of all, are these compatible with G.I. Joe vehicles? Yes. So these are almost the exact same size as either Vintage Joe or Vintage Core or Vintage Rimco figures. Same size, same dimension, same foot peg. All of that stays the same. We've got 3 different factions, and the storyline is set in the 80s. It's a Cold War story. So the factions are: we've got Longbow, which is an American covert operations unit. We've got a Soviet task force, and then we've got Steel Web, which is a more sci-fi based faction. But we've got those, and then we also have just some generic bad guys. One of our most popular figures is actually our henchman in a tracksuit. We don't have a printed version of him right now, but we do have a picture of him here on this banner right there.
So this is the banner with all the figures, and you're talking about the henchman over here on the far side.
Yeah, so he doesn't belong to a particular faction. He's just kind of a general bad guy, and we want to pepper those in. Really, we want to produce figures that fit with the collection that you already have, right? What's missing from the collection that you currently have? We want to fill those holes. So yeah, so we've got some generic bad guys there, but you can see we've got a whole cast of characters here. We got good guys, we got bad guys. So we've got some that look more traditional, like the Spetsnaz trooper here is fairly realistic. He has some accurate equipment. And then we have the Krosny Ninja here, which isn't realistic to anything. So, you know, it kind of runs the gamut. We wanted to make sure that we had something for everybody, whatever, you know, kind of might bring you into that O-ring world, whether it be real authentic stuff, ninjas, whatever it is. We want to make sure that there's a little bit of something for everybody in this line.
You did say that the pre-order store is open. Now, the pre-order store is open, but they're not delivered till 2024.
Correct. So the pre-order store is open now, and you can get to that by going to longbow.backerkit.com. And when you get to that page, there will be a button that'll link you to the pre-order store. And when you click on that, you can pre-order any of the items that we have. And then those will deliver, yes, in early 2024 once we've got product in hand.
Okay, is there anything else you'd like to tell us about the design process or anything of that nature?
You know, really, more so just the whole project really came out of the idea of what did we not get as kids or as collectors that we always wanted from a O-ring line, right? And that's kind of what it grew out of. You know, we set it in the 80s because that's when we grew up, and that's kind of what we felt like what we were missing, right? I mean, we grew up watching Top Gun and Red Dawn and Rocky IV and things like that, where the Soviets were the bad guys. And, you know, we just felt like that was something that was missing, and something that we wanted to produce. So that's really where it came from. We really look at this as kind of the ground floor. This is the foundation that we're building. We really want to grow beyond this. We want to do additional figures. We'd love to get into vehicles at some point. You know, it's just a matter of kind of how fast we can grow and working from there. So.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Troy. And 2024, be on the lookout for Callsign Longbow. I'll put the link in the description below so you guys can hit the backer kit, and we'll talk soon. Thanks, Troy.
Awesome. Thanks, Mark.
Interesting. Well, let me unlock yours. I wonder if that's just because I'm on my phone.
Great. So it was just fantastic talking to Troy. I actually spoke with Troy much longer than what you saw in the interview, just about everything. Mostly around just the toy industry in general. And then we talked into some of the specifics about, you know, what they go through as a small company trying to get these toys created, and just this, that, and the other thing. We talked Joe, of course, and, you know, what's going on in the classified line. What's the future of the retro O-ring line? But man, I tell you that, the Callsign Longbow folks, like I said, link in the description below, cslongbow.com. You need to get on that backer kit and support this project because it's going to be fantastic. And they are going to fit in so well with your vintage figures. It's going to be great. Those guys have really thought this through, between the world building they're doing and just every little thing. Like I said, I had a much longer discussion with Troy. Maybe we'll visit another interview with him in the future if you guys are interested. Are you interested in an interview with Troy, the Callsign Longbow folks? Because leave me a comment. If I get some likes on that, some affirmatives, I will be happy to reach out to him. It's fortunate he's easy to get a hold of, so that's good. But yeah, so let's pivot over to that Skystriker behind me, and listen, if you're a collector, a G.I. Joe fan, and you've known about this HasLab, you know that there's a little bit of division in the community, and this happens with every HasLab. But I don't know, maybe it's because I'm part of the Joe community more than other IPs, but just the amount of nasty things people are spewing and just falsehoods, and I kind of want to give my take on it, and I want to hear yours as well. So feel free to interject in the comments and say, you know, Mark, at this point in time you're completely off base, or blah blah blah, because I do a lot of blah blah blahs myself. But just a quick thing is, if you don't know, Hasbro did this HasLab where they were going to re-release the Skystriker completely rebuilt from the ground up as a premium offering to collectors that enjoy vintage figures specifically. Price point was $229 to get in, to get the Skystriker with 2 figures, pilot, co-pilot. They had a whole bunch of stretch goals, as HasLabs work, and at the end of the day, all the HasLab stretch goals for this project were unlocked except for the very last one. Therefore, when these shipped and I got mine in possession Saturday, I have a Skystriker, I have 7 figures for $229 each, and I got 5. I maxed myself out. You can do 5 maximum per account, so I maxed myself out because I wanted to reach as many of those stretch goals as possible, because obviously at $229, if you get a Skystriker and 7 figures, you know, you're getting a pretty good deal there. So that's the problem, right? The people that supported it paid the money up front. You had 60 days to support this HasLab project. You had 60 days to get $229 to buy into this. And as always, there's people that didn't do that, and that's fine. For one reason or another, they didn't do it. There was a lot of talk that, oh, it's just the same thing we've gotten multiple times. I already have a vintage Skystriker. I already have a modern Skystriker. I don't need another one. So there was some of that. There's people, of course, that couldn't afford that at the time, and that's completely understandable. There's people that say, I do classified. I like 6-inch figures. I don't need something that's small that won't fit a 6-inch figure. Equally fine as well. The big issues for me are that now that it's landing at people's doorsteps, people like me, and I'll admit it, I'm not keeping all 5 of them. I bought 1 to open, which is back there. 1 to keep sealed. Don't want to open it. 1 for my friend, who at the time couldn't fund it. And I said, that's cool. I'm getting 5. I'm happy to sell you 1 at cost. And we're going to go back to that here in a minute. And then 2 more that I will probably either break apart and sell or sell just in the box. And the big issue people are having now, and it always happens, is that people are like, well, collectors shouldn't be doing this to each other. They shouldn't be selling them for a markup price. I should be able to get it for the same price you got it for. And my response to those folks are this, to that particular argument. And again, I'm interested in hearing what you have to say as well. We can have civil discourse about this. It's not hard. There can be varying points of view. We don't have to agree. But if you're just going to assume that because you didn't back it a year and a half ago at a price point that you would want to buy it at now, that's just not going to happen. Unless you just find somebody that's super kind. Now, I had a friend, like I mentioned earlier, that I am going to sell him 1 at cost. He had his reasons for not being able to do one during that 60 days. He's my friend, and of course, I know he wants it, and I'm going to deliver it to him. I'm going to take it to his house. He's going to give me the cash, and we're going to call it a day, and he's going to have an awesome Skystriker. Now, if you're out there in the interwebs, and you're getting all mad that you can't get it for $229, and that for someone like me that ponied up essentially, let's see, $300, $1,200, $1,300 after all of it to get 5 of them, and you're mad that I'm trying to sell one at a raised cost just to recoup some of my losses, I would really like to know why you get mad about that. Not you particularly watching this video, just the royal you. Because I don't understand it. I don't understand why someone assumes that because collectors like me that put our money on the table to Hasbro and said, we want to support this, we want it, and other folks didn't, and now those same people are mad because they can't get one at the ground floor price. It doesn't make any sense. I understand people that say, that thing's crap, I've got a vintage one, I'm happy with mine. It's just Hasbro trying to make more money. I understand that argument. That argument I don't have an issue with. I might not agree with it, but at least I understand it. But the ones that are mad now that the people that bought in early are trying to recoup some of their money, and you just assume, again, royal you, not you watching this, assume that they should get it for the same cost, it doesn't make sense. It never will. And it was the same with the sail barge. It was the same with the Razor Crest. It was the same with Unicron. Everybody thinks that once it starts hitting, I don't know if it's just like FOMO kicks in, but then they don't want to pay the markup and they think it's unfair. I just don't get it. And then other people are like, well, you just bought 5 of them to sell. Well, sorta, yeah. But yeah, I also bought 5 to sell because I wanted to get those stretch goals. And it was getting down to the wire, and we were trying to hit every one of those stretch goals. And if you don't remember what all the stretch goals were, I don't remember the exact order, but I believe they were like this. It was the base plane with the 2 figures. And then I think in no particular order, it was Scarlet in her flight suit, Night Force ripcord, a Cobra commander, Cobra trooper, Cobra flight deck crew was the next one. And then I'm looking at the figures right now, trying to remember how they all were. And the last one was the ones called the G.I. Joe flight crew. That was, or not flight crew, but ground crew, whatever you want to call them. Ketchup and mustard is what everybody called them online. And that didn't get unlocked. And everybody was making a push to try to get all these tiers unlocked. And I was like, I originally only had 2 purchased. One to keep in the package, one to open. And it was getting close, and I decided, hey, I'm going to max out. And during that same time, my friend said he would buy one of the 5 I was buying. And I'm like, cool. So I said, hey, to get towards those goals, to make that 229 a little more, to swallow that pill a little easier, if I can unlock 7 figures and an airplane and get that all for 229, that's awesome. If they would have unlocked Ketchup and Mustard, that would have been 9 figures plus airplane. And it's fantastic. And I'm glad I did it. And there are people out there that are willing to pay the money for it. That's what you get. You don't have the funds, whatever, to buy right now, or you think it's dumb, and then all of a sudden you want it later. That's fine, but don't get mad because I decided to essentially push $1,200 out to try to maximize this offering so that somebody that didn't have a chance, hey, you're getting, you pay, let's say, $450 for this thing. And I'm not saying that's what I'm selling it for. Actually, when I was at RetroMania, they had a Skystriker HasLab for sale. Guy had one of them for sale. And I believe it was either $450 or $400. I feel like I heard both numbers from the guy. And there was a gentleman there with his teenage kids, a little bit older than me. And I looked at my buddy and I said, I bet he's going to buy that before I leave. Well, before I made my final, walk of the show and leave, I see this guy carrying that Skystriker. So to that person, that individual who bought that, and I hope they enjoyed it as much as I've enjoyed mine so far, even though they paid a markup for it. Maybe they didn't know about it. I don't know. But that fellow bought it. And he paid either $400 or $450 for that Skystriker. And he's still getting a phenomenal deal. If he likes retro figures, he's getting a phenomenal deal, in my opinion. I mean, if I'm just looking at the figures down here, I can tell you what, this guy right here, Night Force Ripcord, this is an excellent thing to have if you are a vintage collector and you love Night Force. This is a killer figure. They're all killer figures, but man, that one fits right into a vintage collection and nobody's going to know the wiser. Other than say, I don't remember a Night Force Ripcord. But the point is, the other thing to this is, people are saying, well, everybody's going to flood the market with them and they're going to lower down price. If you're paying $400 right now, you're a fool. You can probably get it for $300 or even cheaper if you just wait. There's some truth to that. There is some truth. As I put mine up for sale, as others get theirs and they put theirs up for sale, the ones they aren't keeping, yeah, prices will start going down. Somebody will say, hey, I'll sell it for $400. Somebody will say, I'll sell it for $390, et cetera, et cetera. And it'll hit the low end of the plateau. The low end of the curve, I should say. And the problem is, once those are sold, that's it. New owners get them, they open them, they enjoy them, they have fun with them. And then they're going to dwindle away. And then that price is going to start curving back up. Use me as an example. I've got 4, not counting the one I'm giving my friend. So I've got 4. One I'm going to open. I'm not going to sell it. That's mine. One I'm going to open, but just display in the package, a Skystriker package, and display all the carded figures. That's 2. So that leaves me with 2 more. Let's say I sell one of them today for $350. Let's just say I say, hey, I'll sell this for $350 and somebody buys it. And I just keep the other one in the box. I throw it over here in my closet, you know, the black hole of toys over here. And, yeah. And then I decide I'm going to sell it in a year from now. They're not going to be $350, my friends. They're not going to be $400. They might not even be $500. They might be $600, $700, $800, depending on how long and how badly people want these things. The HasLab only made around, I think, 15,000 of these. I don't remember the exact number. Somebody can fact check me and find out what it actually was. But that's it. Night Force Ripcord down here, 15,000-ish made. That's a very low number. I know it sounds like a large number, but it's not. So if you want a Night Force Ripcord as an example, so let's say you don't even want the Skystriker. You might pay a crazy amount for a single carded figure. You might pay $200 at some point if you wait too long. And I'm not trying to shill it to say, oh, you need to buy mine, because I don't really care. I don't need to sell these things. They are just there if I want to recoup some of my money I spent. I knew I was getting these. I had the available funds. If I want to take these out and run them over with a steamroller, I could do it. And although you might think I'm crazy, it wouldn't affect my life one way or the other. Not trying to make a mint. So if you know someone that thinks that collectors are trying to do this to screw other collectors, we're not. That's not how this works. You know, I would happily sell mine at a reasonable cost to a friend. Obviously, I'm selling it at cost to a friend. I'm not here going to try to make enough money to take a trip to Barbados. That's not happening. Collectors aren't doing that. We're not screwing over other collectors. We just have collectors that are mad they couldn't get it at the time and feel like they're owed to be able to get it at the same price without ponying up the money to make this project a success. And this isn't meant to be a bummer video. It's one of those things that happens all the time and it just wears on my mind. I don't understand, especially whenever you get on the Facebooks and the forums and you just spit this nasty, collectors are terrible because they bought something that you didn't get. That's just not how it is, guys. Come on. I mean, we bought it. We bought in on it. If you want it, you're going to have to probably pay a premium. You might not have to. You might find somebody. You might have a hookup, so to speak. And if you do, more power to you. Otherwise, you're getting on eBay. You're getting on Facebook Marketplace. You're going to forums. And you're working out something with a guy or gal that purchased one already. And that actually is the way I recommend. If you can stay away from eBay, stay away from eBay. It works out both for the seller and the buyer. If you know somebody from a forum, if you have a good, rapport with them, maybe you'll even get it cheaper. But if you want one, and like I said, I'll have the video coming out hopefully this week. If you can get one, you can afford one. I recommend getting one, especially if you like O-ring. You just got to get it. I'm sorry you weren't able to get it in the beginning, but it's super cool. It's super cool. But please, if you know someone out there, like I said, I don't think it's you watching the video. You know why I don't think it's you? Because I think you're a reasonable human being. But if you know someone, if you have that buddy that, the buddy you go drinking with that just, once they get a little bit of liquor in them, they're just a different animal. If you have a friend that follows something like that and just says stupid stuff that they shouldn't online, just nudge them and say, that's not how these guys are. That's not how collectors are working. Okay, there might be a few of them out there that said, hey, I'm going to buy 5 Skystrikers, sell them all for a huge profit, and buy myself something. They are, but the vast majority of the people are buying these because they love G.I. Joe. They want it to be successful. And they want more HasLabs. They want more G.I. Joe stuff like this. That's why I did it. I wanted as much as I could get. And if I can recoup a little bit of cost, that's great. Selling 1 or 2 of these is not going to recoup the money I spent. And I am fully aware of that. And I'm totally okay with it. Because that is a cool Skystriker. And I love it just sitting back there. I don't even have stickers on it. It just looks cool. But, so yeah, there's my soapbox talking thing. Tell me what you think. Tell me how crazy I am. In a civil way, of course. Because like I always say, like, we can have civil discourse. You can tell me your reasons. I would love to hear them. Why you think collectors shouldn't be doing markups, whatever you want to call it. I'd love to hear it. Be civil. Be civil to one another online. Maybe that's really the PSA, is be civil to one another online. You don't have to be an a-hole. You really don't. It doesn't help anybody. It doesn't solve anything. Acting that way behind a keyboard is not cool. Yeah, you might never come face to face with the person you said crap about or to, but it can happen. It can happen. The world's a big place, but at the same time, it's a small world. So, with that being said, that's my first weekend review. Things have gone on during the week. What excited you? What did you like hearing about this? What did you not like hearing about that? Did I go too far off the edge? Let me know. I plan on doing more of these because I really like having discussions just about the toy industry, and not that I know anything about it. I just know from friends who are in it and other things that I watch on YouTube, just like you guys probably do. So thank you so much, and I hope you have a wonderful week, and please come back. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, smash the bell icon. I put videos up multiple times a week. Hit the like button if you made it this far. I would really appreciate it. That helps with the YouTube algorithm. And subscribe. I already said that, didn't I? Please subscribe. Please like. I will see you guys soon, and I wish you a very happy, healthy, and fun week. Take it easy.